In this lesson we will be creating the skinning for this character. So skinning is basically the process of attaching a skeleton system to a mesh. So we'll just find out how skinning works first, and then we will work on the character itself. I'll go ahead and create a simple cylinder, increase the height segments or divisions. Let's make it 20 for now. I'll lift it up, I'll scale it up, bring it outside, and I'll create 3 joints. So go to skeleton join tool, start from up here, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to do a basic skinning on this. Select the joint, shift select the mesh, go to skin, bind skin, and smooth bind. Now what this does is, by default, when you do the skinning itself, the joint gets attached to whichever the mesh that is closer to that joint. So now this joint is being attached with this region of mesh, and this joint is being attached to this region of mesh. So when I move this top one, the entire body moves. When I move or rotate the second one, only that portion moves. Now to see this visually, we can select the mesh and go to skin, edit smooth skin, and go to paint weights tool. And here it will basically show us the number of joints. For example, we've got joint 2, joint 3, and joint 4. And when I select these joints, it also shows me with color which area is being influenced by that particular joint. So for example, joint 2 is influencing this white region, and joint 3 is influencing this white region. And the black region basically tells that it is a region that is not affected by this particular joint. And if I select this last one, you can see that the last one is just controlling a small region. Now we can modify this region that are being controlled by the help of painting different values. For example, here I have chosen replace, and if I give a value of 0, okay, so painting a value of 0 will basically make it black, meaning that this region is now not being affected by joint 3. At the same time, if I make it a value of 1, it will be making it white in color. So that means this region is going to be affected by this particular joint. Now to see this more clearly, I will just make a small rotation first for this joint. Okay, now this entire region is being controlled by this joint. Let me go back to this tool again, and this time I will make this value to be 0 and start to paint. As you can see, when I'm painting, these pixels or these control vertices are moving away, meaning that they're basically going towards the other joint that is controlling them. Let me just continue painting this side. As you can see, these joints, these control vertices are now going to be aligned with the previous joint. These control vertices are not controlled too much because of the third joint that we have here. So I'm just painting black everywhere. Okay, as you can see, this entire top region is aligned with this previous joint. Now let me do just one more little thing. I'll do the same thing for the last joint. I will just make this 0, 0, 0. Now some of the points are going towards the center because those points are not being controlled by any joint. Okay, now let me just undo a few steps. I can also do the same thing for adding more control vertices. I can choose this to be 1, and if I add these control vertices, you can see that these are bending towards the rotation of the second joint or the third joint, since I've selected the third joint. Okay, or if I select this one, I can also add for this one, no, last one. So to understand it simply, white color adds control vertices and black color removes control vertices. Now let's see how this works on the real model. We'll go ahead and delete these two. For the character that we have, we'll have to select the join first, shift select the mesh, go to skin, bind skin, and smooth bind. Now let me just try how this looks. Select the hip joint, sorry, hip control. At first look, it looks good enough. Let me try to lift up the leg. Okay, it's fine. Although there are some small problem here. Okay, let's see how this hand looks. Select the arm control, rotate it. Okay, there are some minor problems here also. Let me try this one. This is okay. This doesn't have any big problem. Let's try this one. Okay, that's good enough. Let's try the head. Okay, the head has got some problem. So let's start fixing from the head. So I'll select this joint, I'll select the mesh and go to Paint Skin Weights tool. If you're not aware where this tool is, you can go to Skin, Edit Smooth Skin, and choose Paint Weights tool. Okay, so here this is the reason why I always ask you to give names to your joint. So here you can see that we've got lots and lots of joints. So just because we have given these names, it is easy for us to pick which joint we want to control. So for example, this is the top one. This we don't have to do anything, we'll just leave it like that. The head is what we want to control now, so I can select the head. Okay, if we didn't give proper names, then we'll have to search, click each of them and find out which joint you want to control, right? So I've selected that. Go down and make this value to be 1, and I'll start to paint this entire region. We can actually do this painting on one side so that Maya will make it mirror or duplicate to the other side. So I'll just try to add this entire region. You can also make the brush size to be smaller and bigger. You can press B key and click and drag. Okay, so I'll just select this entire region. Since it is just head, I'll just do it on both sides, especially when we are working on fingers and hands and legs. We can actually do it one side and we can mirror it to the other side. Okay. And now in this neck region, we don't have to make it 100% influence, so we can actually choose this smooth option. Okay, make it a little big, and this will basically smooth out this edges so that we'll have some nice smooth result. Okay, good enough. Let me try to rotate this joint and see how that looks now. Okay, it's still having some influence coming from the other joint, so we'll have to now remove the influences from other joints, especially for this region. As you can see, when I rotate this few vertices are being pushed down. So let's go ahead and select the mesh again, go back to tools. Let's pick up the next joint we have now. That's our neck joint. You can see that the neck joint is having a lot of influence up here, so we don't want these influence to be there. So I'll go ahead and choose replace, and this time let's make it minus 0. I'll just remove these influences that are here. Too much of influences everywhere. Okay, because we don't want this area to be influenced by the neck. So I'll just paint out all these regions. Okay. Okay, good enough. And I don't want the neck to be controlling these areas also. I will just remove these controls. Okay, but we'll just draw one line just straight here. I'll now have it 100%, that is value of 1. I will make the brush size smaller because I don't want to influence the regions that I don't want. I'll just paint here, just here. Okay, so the neck will be controlling just the small region. Okay, good enough. Fine. And I can do some little smoothing. Smooth it out here. If it is not coming 100% evenly, it is okay because we will be making a mirror of these things from one side to the other side. So that would be fixing it later. Let me try it now. Okay, now it is much better. You can see that it is not being pulled. Okay, it's not at all being pulled. It's good enough. Okay, so you can also turn him left and right. You can see that the head is not having any other extra influences. That's good. Let's check the second one, see if it is okay. That's good enough, no big problem for the neck. Let's try rotating it sidewise. Okay, that's good. It's beautiful. Okay, so the next big thing is here. Okay, so here you can see that arm joint is actually influencing a lot of regions here, so we'll have to fix that. Now, especially at this point of time, we can actually create some keyframes just to check how these flow is coming or how the influence is changing. So what I'll do is I will pick up this control curve, set key for rotation, which axis, let's find out. It's z-axis. Okay, I'll say right click and key selected, and let's go to 10 frames, and then let's make this rotation. Okay, so what we have to check is we have to check even if I make this rotation, it should still look good, right? So let me select the mesh. Now this will be easy for us to just check how this skin or how this joint how this mesh is changing depending on the paint weights, right? So let's go ahead and check that. Okay, select the mesh, go back to the tool. Let's find out. We can also right click on a particular joint and choose or check, select the influence. Right click here. Okay, select influence. So that's one way we can pick up a particular joint that we want. So as you can see, it is having some huge influence here. First I'll remove the influence. Let's go ahead and choose replace, make it 0. So I don't want these joints to be controlled. Okay, I'll just remove almost all these because this area can be controlled by the shoulder. Okay, so get rid of these, get rid of these. Okay, that's good enough, I guess. Let's try how this is working out. Okay, that's perfect. It's not having any influence here. That's good. So I think I can just smooth out this edges, pick up the smooth tool, paint out here. Okay, paint here, paint here. Okay, okay, let's check that out. Okay, that's perfect. So the same way, we just have to do the entire mesh. Okay, so once we complete with one side, we can also duplicate to the other side. I'll just show you how these two things looks. This is also again rotation Z. I'll make a keyframe, go to frame number 10. Let's make it 70 or minus 70, minus 70. Okay, so this is how it was before, and we fixed it like this. So now let's see how we can mirror from one side, finished one, to the other side. I'll have to select this mesh, go to skin, and smooth skin, edit smooth skin, and choose mirror skin weights. So I'll go to the options. I'll have to pick up the axis that I want to mirror, so that is YZ axis, and we want to mirror from positive X to negative X, so positive to negative. And let's leave everything else as it is and hit mirror. So as you can see, that instantly changed from how it was before and how it is now. So we can check. Okay, so we just have to repeat this throughout the character to finish up the skinning process.